Alright guys, so this is the second part of this video where I talk about my top 10 movies of 2023 so far. Again, we're 6 months into the year, and the list is gonna probably change. I guarantee you this list is gonna change. But for right now, these are my top 10 movies I've seen so far. Now, granted, I haven't seen every movie. I wasn't able to see Indiana Jones or Guardians 3, but when I see them, they'll probably, one of those two will make it to the list. But anyway, so as always, this is just my top 10. If you guys think a movie should be higher or lower on the list, that's fine. I'm always excited to hear what you have to say. So let's get started with this list. Starting off with Transformers: Rise of the Beast. I initially didn't like this movie, and you're gonna see that with another movie on this list. I initially thought the movie was okay, probably because the problem was I was in a crowded movie theater with two different families bringing in babies, and no one would shut the fuck up. But having seen it again, yeah, it's actually a fun Is it a good movie? Not really. Is it a fun movie? Yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot more fun than the Bayformer movies. And again, not to spoil anything, but that ending does make you want to go, can we get that? So, yeah. So, moving on to number 9, Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear was one of the most hyped movies in early 2023 alongside Megan. Cocaine Bear was literally running on its theme of, it's a bear on cocaine. What's not to love? And this movie is fun. It's just a fun gore fest. It is just nothing but pedal to the metal. Although it doesn't go far enough sometimes. I do think that the movie is a fun gore fest. Is the CGI kind of cheap? Yeah. Are some of the jokes don't land? Yeah. Does that third act not work? Yeah. Is it a fun movie? Yeah. It was a fun matinee movie. When my girlfriend and I watched this movie, we basically, there's a scene where two kids have to eat a spoonful of cocaine, and granted that doesn't go anywhere, but everyone in that theater went, no! And I'm like, tell me you guys haven't done cocaine without, have done cocaine without saying you've done cocaine. Anyway. So moving on to number 8. Number 8 is Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I initially didn't like... Again, just like with Transformers, I initially didn't like this movie, probably because I wasn't in the best mindset at the time. But after rewatching it, I actually had a blast with it. It's like a fun D&D campaign. It's nothing short of just you and your buddies fucking around and, having a good time. There's actually some great character moments. There's actually some genuine... there's some genuine, heart to the film. It's very sweet, and also there's some actual really fun jokes as well. There's some genuinely good jokes to this movie, too. Yeah, it's one of those I had to give it a second watch to be like, okay, now I see where we're going with this. It sucks that it bombed. I hated that. Number 7, we have Renfield. Renfield is another fun horror comedy that was bloody. It was very underrated. I think it was a very fun joke movie. I think it had a lot of fun jokes. And Count Caligula. What more do I need to say, people? Count fucking Caligula. I'm serious. That movie was carried by Nick Cage and Nicholas Hoult. Awkwafina did well. And there's fun references to Dracula, to the Dracula lore, and the original 1931 Todd Browning movie. This movie also has some fun gore. There's actually some MK X-rays in the movie too. It's actually I actually thought that was pretty fun. But yeah, Renfield. It's a solid movie. It was a solid fun horror comedy. Emphasis on more comedy. Anyway, moving on to number 6. Number 6 is funny enough, Scream 6. Scream 6 is a very well done sequel to the 5th film, to Scream 5, coming out less than a year of the previous one, and now Radio Silence, the people behind these movies, are doing a Universal monster movie, but we don't know where that's going because of the writer's strike as well as the actor strike, so that might all be canceled. But regardless, this is a solid, good horror movie. Figuring out who Ghostface is actually pretty easy. It was kind of easy to figure out, way easier this time around than it was the fifth movie, to figure out who was Ghostface. But aside from that, this is the most violent Ghostface. I love the New York setting, and it's a solid sequel. As opposed to another movie that had a sequel, another horror franchise that had a sequel. No, I will never stop talking about Halloween Ends and how bad it is. Thank you very much. Next up, at the big five, Project Wolf Hunting. Project Wolf Hunting is a Korean action horror movie that is just fucking brutal. It actually reminds me a lot of the movie Overlord from a few years back. But imagine that and mixed with Mortal Kombat. It's brutal. It's fun. It is a little pace. It does have some pacing problems, but I think the story and where it goes is more than enough to carry that film. So yeah, Project Wolf Hunting. If you haven't already, it's out on Blu-ray and DVD, so I highly recommend it. Next up, we have Evil Dead Rise coming in at number 4. Evil Dead Rise was another solid sequel to a horror franchise that I dearly love. Great scares, great gore, great actresses for both Deadite and main actress. Some great camera angles. This was a fantastic movie. Absolutely loved it. And I can't wait to see what else they'll do with the future of the Evil Dead franchise. Hopefully we'll get something sooner than 10 years. Now moving on to the top 3. Number 3, Sisu. Sisu was a movie that I had just stumbled upon. It's a Finnish movie that involves an old man killing Nazis. And nothing's better than watching Nazis die horribly. And this movie is a fun, gritty, it's almost like a Grindhouse kind of movie in a way. But it is fun. I highly recommend it. It's out on Blu-ray. It came out on Blu-ray recently, so look, it was very well done. Next up, John Wick 4. John Wick 4 was the movie that had to compete, that every movie had to compete for the number 1 spot so far, until another movie knocked it off the list. But John Wick 4 was a solid end, at least so far, to the movie franchise. Great action. It was a 3-hour film that didn't feel like a 3-hour movie, and I absolutely loved it. And finally, you know what it is, it's Spider-Verse. How could I not put Spider-Verse? Like, the moment that came out, John Wick got the second place. But Spider-Verse was a beautifully animated film. The acting was great. The characterization of Miles, Gwen, Miguel, all of these characters is fantastic. And it really makes me want to see the next movie soon. Really soon. Anyway. So there you go, guys. That is my top 10 list for the movie so far. Like I said, the emphasis on this is so far. Because remember, there's still 6 more months of this. We've still got 6 more months of movies to go through. And this list may change drastically in the coming, by the end of the year. But until then, you guys tell me in the comments below, what are your top 10 favorite movies so far for 2023? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.